Hi, we were talking about pruning just now, and we do a lot of pruning work through our landscaping. And Jim, why do people need to prune in the fall?
Well, we all make the mistake of putting a plant where it's not supposed to go.
Yes.
And a lot of people just don't anticipate how fast a plant is going to grow, or they just put a plant that's going to be too big for the space. And sometimes we do that by design, knowing that we can prune the plant and keep it small.
Okay, but
Right.
okay, then why prune it in the fall? What is it about fall?
Well, you look at this, happens to be a burning bush, and there's still a lot of green leaves. It's basically done growing for the year, starting to tinge. But if you look down, we got a couple other plants here, spirea, and even another burning bush that's pretty much dormant.
Further
They're
along.
done.
Yep.
And with a plant like this, all the energy is now in the root system. So if you have to do a fairly heavy pruning, you're really not hurting the plant, because that next year the energy from that plant is going to come up and come up through the buds that are still there and regrow it. So it's a great time to do a fairly heavy pruning.
Okay, and you can see the branching on that so much better too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does make it a little easier to do some structural work on the plant.
Very good.
Okay.
Now, everything in the fall for dormant?
Well, basically, if you may sacrifice some bloom on like a rhododendron or forsythia if you prune in the fall. That may or may not be an issue.
Okay, and what is the other point that you were trying to tell me earlier? That
Well, rule of thumb that I like to use is a plant is going to grow from where you cut it. So if you have a pair of shears and you come in and you cut 6 inches off that plant, at 6.5 inches, it's going to grow from there up. If you really want to take this down and you want the plant to stay at this height, you really need to reach in and prune from down inside the plant so that it grows from down inside.
So evenly, a little bit from
Right.
the bottom, a little from
And
the
that's
top.
really true with, say, a lilac. You got a big lilac. If you cut a lilac that's 12 feet to 6 feet, it's going to grow from 5.5 feet up. You really need to cut the main stems down to regenerate new growth from the bottom.
Great, great. Those are great tips for us. And thanks for joining us. I'm Casey Krause.
And I'm Jim Hoteling, the Home Gardeners from Hillside Garden Center.